This is the key with power struggles. Today we'll be reacting to the come sit in the car tantrum. This is what we'll call it, but there's a lot more going on than just sitting in a car. So here we go.
Come sit in this chair now.
No.
Come sit in this chair now.
No.
Wow. Before we could even get it started, we might be 5 seconds into it. And this is one thing that we always say not to do, and that is talk too much. He asked him to come sit in the car once. Said no. Asked him to come sit in the car twice. He said no. Well, what could he have done better? Number one, we talked about giving too many verbal directions back to back. So you want to pause. He could have given one verbal direction and then just waited. Yeah, they're going to say no. They're going to scream and holler. They're going to kick. But you have to wait. Give the brain time to process what was being said and give it time to carry out what you asked them to do. So they're already oppositional. They're not going to all of a sudden snap out of it and do exactly what you said. So don't talk too much. That is number one. How can you remedy that? Give short, quick, directive language and then give them time to process it. Okay, let's go to the next one.
Look at me.
Well, that was perfect. He started to count. So when you're waiting for that compliance, you need to do something else. A lot of people say, just wait. Well, waiting is not good enough because people get antsy and their mind starts to take them to other places. So we say, do something else, whether it's rolling up the window, whether it's going to get a snack, drinking some water, or even counting, which he did here. So I like that. He just did it a little bit too late. He should have done it right after that first directive. Come sit in the car. No. 1, 2, or what do you say? 1 calm, 2 calm. Then you start to maybe give another directive, but not too many back to back. So he had the right idea. It's just a little bit too late. Okay. But what's going on here?
Here's another warning.
Man, I don't know what was about to happen there, but this is the key with power struggles. You don't want to get into a power struggle with a child for 2 big reasons. One big reason is because the younger person will always win. Why? They have absolutely nothing to lose. They will stoop to the lowest depths to get you to react, to get your attention, to make you upset. So you can't be high and mighty and then stoop to their level. Number 2, it can become dangerous. As you can see, he's grabbing him, he's handling him, there's like a beanbag involved too. Suffocation can start to get involved. And the reason we go through these scenarios is to keep everybody safe. In California, maybe about 20 or so years ago, there used to be a bill called the Hughes Bill that prohibited school districts from using any type of physical force to restrain a child. Why? Because in a situation just like this, a child was being maybe defiant or not doing what was asked of them. So what happened? They rolled that child up into a rug, to keep them from tantruming. And I'm not sure if they forgot about the child or if it was just too much pressure, but that child ended up suffocating. So after that, there was a number of rules about what had to be done prior to using any physical intervention. And a lot of it came down to things that we talk about all the time. Identifying the function. What can you do before you intervene? What do you do after you intervene? How can you build up the behaviors you want to see so you don't even have to get involved in this? So a number of reasons why you don't want to get involved into a power struggle, which he just did there. Very, very slippery slope, and you on thin ice. But let's continue.
You continue to call me a bad name again, you're going to go back to a timeout. Do you understand?
Adam.
What was that? A good old verbal threat. Now this goes back to a video that we did a while ago where we talked about making sure that you follow through. This is the problem with verbal threats. You give them, and if you're not sure you can follow through, that bond is broken. We always talk about the Jamaican wisdom of my word is my bond. What I say is what I mean, and what I mean, what I say. The problem is if you don't follow through and that bond is broken, nobody believes your word anymore. They're not going to listen to you. And it's just like womp, 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 Snoopy and Charlie Brown. They don't hear anything you're saying. You're just making noise because in the past, what happened? You did not stick to the script. So this is another example already where you do not want to make verbal threats or promises that you cannot keep. This is why. Let's keep going.
Adam. No, I'm not going to be called names.
You're yelling.
You're going to time out upstairs.
The wife said something key. They're very, very keen at finding these little things. He said, Adam, you're yelling. And Adam, I'm assuming that's the father's name, said, I'm not going to be called names. He's getting pulled down into the lowest depths of the power struggle because he wants to establish and assert his control. And that's understandable, but there are ways that you have to go about doing that. And none of us are usually explicitly taught the science of how to do it. That's why we want to bring it to you now so that you have it. But that is perfect right there. He said he's not going to call me names and I'm going to show you. But the wife also said something key, which is you're yelling. What do we always say about yelling? Lower your voice, because they're going to mirror what you do. That's one reason. The other reason is because you are fricasseeing the brain. A child at that age being yelled at by an adult male, it is hard for them to respond appropriately because it is just fight or flight response, which you see a lot of here. You see a lot of fighting. You see a lot of flighting, okay? Avoid all of that by using a calm, assertive tone whenever possible. And if you see yourself getting too escalated or you hear yourself getting too escalated, just try to consciously lower the voice, okay? Let's keep going.
You're going to time out upstairs.
No.
Door stays open.
No. You shut up.
So, even though the child ran after he was getting chased, he's still telling the pops to shut up, which is letting you know that it's automatic at this point. It's not like he's really choosing to try to get under the skin. He's not picking his words very carefully. He is just responding to his environment. So if you can learn anything from this particular video, you can learn four things that we always constantly bring up, which is lower your voice, talk in a calm, assertive manner, which is avoid the power struggles because the younger person always wins and it could lead to somebody getting hurt. Don't talk too much. Give the brain time to process by giving quick, succinct, but understandable directions. And lastly, just don't get caught up in the back and forth. Don't make those promises. Don't make the threats, because if you break your bond, you break your word, and nobody's going to believe anything that you say. Okay? So quite a few lessons that we learned in this particular video. I have to give a shout out to those who were in it because they did help us to learn a few things today. But if you see yourself having the same problems, make sure you check out the comments below and our description where we show you the Behavior Bootcamp for Parents. This is something that we put together to help you identify the function of the behavior, to identify antecedent, which means before the behavior happens, techniques to keep the behavior from happening, and also consequent strategies to what to do after the behavior happens. So you get a whole sandwich. You get scripts. You get what to say instead checklists. You get morning and evening routine charts. You get a number of tools. So check out the Behavior Bootcamp for Parents because it will help turn your life around if you're having these types of problems. If you want something a little bit quicker, check out our behavior function cheat sheet, which is free. Check that out below, and it'll help you identify the function of the behavior so that you can fulfill that need in a different way. Once you know the function, you can teach other skills that gets that need, that functional need met in a different way so that you don't see these types of behaviors. So definitely check those two out. And if you're still having problems and you need even more in-depth support, don't hesitate to contact us through either our contact comments below or by just looking in our bio and getting the description. That way you can either send us an email, you can give us a call, or you can just direct message us. So once again, this is another tantrum reaction that comes sit in the Car Tantrum. We hope that you've learned something very valuable, and there will also be more of these. So make sure you do as we always ask you to do. subscribe, hit that notification bell, and make sure you like that video so more people can find it. And as always, stay tuned.